Okay, so welcome back. This is video number 5, and we're going to talk about how to convert somebody's old style or HTML website or any other platform to WordPress. Now, there are two different avenues that you can take. Number one, the client is either going to want a very custom WordPress theme, or number two, they are going to be okay with you, finding a theme on themeforest.net or any other theme marketplaces. And they're going to be okay with that. And that's actually going to be easier for you. So you can actually charge less by doing that. Now that is going to be covered in video number 6. Video number 5 is more kind of a custom WordPress theme design. So how do you convert an HTML site to WordPress? You're not actually going to get somebody to convert from the HTML to WordPress. It's a step-by-step process. It's a 2-step process. Number one, you're basically going to have to get it designed. So you're going to have to find a WordPress designer to design a Photoshop version of file of the website itself. Now, you're going to need to find a specific WordPress designer, because WordPress designers will know exactly how to create the theme or the Photoshop file. You got to realize that not all designers are created equally. You cannot get a designer who is not experienced in WordPress to design the Photoshop file. So what I normally do is I head on over to a site called Upwork.com. It is formerly known as Odesk.com, but I use this all the time. What I normally do is, if you do not have a dedicated WordPress designer, then what you can do is simply go here, type in WordPress designer, search, and then of course what I try to do is I try to find people with feedback with 4.5 and above. I only want to work with the best. In experience, I try to work with, intermediates to experts. It's a matter of saving time versus trying to train them. Sometimes you can find really good entry-level folks, but generally speaking, intermediates is good. Then, of course, more options. I try to choose, at least an hour or 100 hours. And then you can select the location, tests that they might have taken. Now, keep in mind, these are WordPress designers. They're technical. So most likely they're not going to have taken these tests or excelled necessarily on these tests. So what I really want to find is somebody who can understand WordPress, but have a basic understanding of what I want. So make sure that when you take a look at these people, you take a look at their portfolios, you see whether or not they're good WordPress theme designers or not. So once you have, you've communicated with them, you've communicated with the client, you're kind of acting like a middleman here. So what I would normally do is, before I approach the WordPress designer, I would talk to the client, mock up exactly what it's going to look like, because you really can't change the design after it has been created, because it's a custom made template. Now, this type of service is going to cost a lot more money for me and more time for me. So therefore, I'm going to charge the clients a lot more money. So if they're going to want a custom website, they're going to have to pay premium prices. If they, you set up a WordPress theme that's already created, I'm not going to charge them as much. But for example, this person here, I would take a look at what they do, what their experience shows. I would take a look at their portfolio and actually see whether they have experience in WordPress or not. Sometimes it's not necessarily they're, a WordPress PSD designer. So for example, I'm going through here. It doesn't look to me like this person is a WordPress PSD designer. It looks to me like the designs are okay. They're not what I'm looking for. So you want to make sure that you do your own due diligence and find the right person to do this job. Now, once you have somebody who has converted it to a PSD, you got to convert that PSD to WordPress. Now, this is a very complicated process. That's why you want to hire somebody to do it for you. And that's why you're charging the customer premium prices, like at least $5,000 or $5,000. Because this is going to charge you, cost you a certain amount of money. And this might charge you, $300, $400, $500. Now, what I like about this site, which is xhtmlchop.com, that's xhtmlchop.com, they will convert it to WordPress, the homepage and inner pages. They will make sure that the WordPress theme is compatible with all different devices, which is very crucial nowadays because, as Google has moved towards mobility, they said, your site will get better rankings if it is mobile. If it is not, you'll actually get hurt in that area. They'll make sure that it's user-friendly. You got the latest version of WordPress, which is crucial. And you really need somebody who knows what they're doing. I've hired people in the past for like $50, $100 here and there. And to be honest, it was a pain in the butt. Because I found over the years that you might pay them $100 to do it. You might find somebody who's cheap, but they're not always going to do the best job. You want somebody, cheap enough, but is going to do a good job and is very efficient and get things on time. Now, this is a service, so you're not dealing with a very specific person. You're dealing with a company who will get the job done right.